Someone requested for me to react to California Dreaming by the Mamas and the Papas. Of course, I know California Dreaming. Yes, there's a lot of these songs from the 70s and 60s that people assume I don't know, and I don't know a lot of them. That's true. But I do know this. But it looks like this might be some kind of live music video or something. So I guess I'm going to react to the video because I know what the song sounds like. And if I sing, it's because I know it. I'll try not to, but it's a really hard song not to sing too. Don't you think? Especially the backup. Okay, let's go. Ooh.
All the leaves are brown. Stopped into a church, I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees, and I pretend to pray. You know the preacher like the cold, he knows I'm gonna stay.
Okay, so that's obviously the studio version that I've heard a million times, just set to some random live video that they had because it didn't even like sync up exactly. So I didn't really see the Mamas and the Papas because I always just heard the recording. I never saw many pictures of them. So that was interesting. So I pulled up their Wikipedia article to just kind of learn about the history, and apparently it's like Sunshine Folk or something. And they had been in folk before. Cass Elliot, Doherty's bandmate in the Mugwumps, but then they thought her voice was too low and that her obesity would be an obstacle to the band's success. Okay, so she struggled with obesity all her life. I will say that back then, I mean, I just know this from knowing boomer women, but being overweight in like the 60s and 70s, and this is like why boomer women today, the way to make a boomer woman the most happy is if you lose weight. Like when I've lost weight and gotten to like a more thinner version of myself, the reaction you get from boomer women are like, oh my God, you look so amazing. You could be like, I got a PhD. They'd be like, eh. You could be like, I got engaged. They'd be like, oh, that's nice. But if you're like, I lost 30 pounds, they're like, oh my God, yes. Anyway, it was very rare back then, I feel like, to be overweight, whereas like now it's really common, unfortunately, because it is really unhealthy. So I just think about like what she must have struggled with to be overweight like that in the generation, because it was kind of like a you know, if you were fat back then, it was really bad. They deal with that in the musical, what's it called? Da, 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 da. You can't stop the beat. Da, 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 da. Whatever that musical. Hey, Mr. Good Morning Baltimore. Whatever that musical is. It's about the girl who wants to be a singer, but she's like chubby and whatever that musical is called. I can't think of it right now. I don't know why. But I know all the songs. Good Morning Baltimore and whatever the one. Okay. So, all right, they form this band. Folk, banjo, mugwumps, what a name. Los Angeles, audition. Okay, well, I do love the California Dreaming because the backup vocals are just so good. But I could even tell while they were dubbing over that video that there's like way more instruments, obviously, than they were playing. Like he was just playing like a acoustic guitar. And then also there was more of background vocals than were performed there too, because they're singing many layers of the harmony, not just two-part harmony when the girls are coming into their backup. Basically, all the leaves are brown, all the leaves are brown, all the leaves are brown. Okay, so 67, Monterey Pop Festival. It seems like such an important thing because I've seen other things from the Monterey Festival. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's look at, I want to see the breakup. 1968. 12:30, young girls are coming to the canyon. Dream a little dream of me. All right. Elliot had a solo and she remade Dream a Little Dream of Me. Stars shining bright above you. And they credited it to Mama Cass with the Mamas and the Papas. Number 12 in the U.S., Dream a Little Dream of Me. Stars, and there I linger on, dear. Still yearn for your kiss. Oh, okay. The success of Dream a Little Dream of Me confirmed Elliot's desire to embark on a solo career. The Beatles showed the way. Music itself was heading towards a technological and compositional complexity that would leave many of us behind. It was tough to keep up. The group met its demise officially in early 1969. Dunhill released us from our contracts and we were history. Though we still owed the label another album, Elliot, billed as Mama Cass, had released a solo debut, Dream a Little Dream of Me. Phillips released John Phillips, John the Wolf King of L.A. in 1970. And Denny Doherty followed with What You Gonna Do, 1971. Farewell to the Golden Era, blah, blah, Sue, Deliver album, post breakup. Okay, John and Michelle Phillips were featured in the music video for The Beach Boys. Second recording of California Dreaming appeared on the album. Made in U.S. Mamas and Papa's own version of California Dreaming was reissued in the UK and peaked at number 9 in 1997. It received a Grammy Hall of Fame award in 2001. All right. Cass Elliot had a successful solo career. It's getting better. Okay, again, Dream a Little Dream of Me. Dream a Little Dream of Me. She died of heart failure in 1974. That's very young, showing you, I wonder if that was obesity related. Interesting. So what an interesting history. Yeah, that's interesting. Cass Elliot. Okay. Her real name is Ellen Naomi Cohen. Interesting. Queen of Laurel Canyon, American University, Sunshine Pop, Folk Rock, 1941 to 1974. So she died at 33. That's really young. That's crazy. But yeah, I think it was so hard to be, I think it's still very hard to be an overweight woman in our society, but there's by the way, I think in general, it's just very unhealthy for anyone to be overweight, like extremely overweight. Some people like tend to be towards the upper healthy BMI their whole life, but that's just like a body distribution thing. But if you're like very overweight, I don't know, it's sad. We know a lot more about like metabolic illness nowadays. But I do think about, drug use, opiates and cocaine. So maybe her heart problems were from cocaine because cocaine can cause problems. Also, if you're trying to be thin all the time, you might be using stimulants and cocaine to try to not eat, and then that could lead to heart problems too. So that's too bad. But it sounds like they left us with some good music before they did it. But yeah, they look adorable here. I mean, they're all young and beautiful and stunning. These guys are really cute, actually. Look at those haircuts. But they're very cute. And the blonde girl is very attractive. But yeah, that's my reaction, is that I know the song very well. I grew up singing it all the time. So it was nice to pop up on my reaction page because I'm like, well, I don't have to be like, oh my God, what is this? I've never heard this before. Whoa. I get to be like, I love this song. Let's learn about Mama Cass because I've heard of her and I just didn't realize she died so young. But I also do think it's interesting that people back then, you just didn't see as many overweight people. And then now, unfortunately, we see a lot of overweight people, and it's I think it's just our food and sugar and processed food. Like, people didn't have processed food. People had to cook, and it wasn't like readily available. Just buy a packaged thing. You had to prepare, and then maybe you would just cook a hard-boiled egg, which is a very healthy meal, right? It's so weird that like now it's like, oh, buy a granola bar, buy a Pop-Tart, buy a this. Like, that stuff didn't exist. I just think it's too much stuff. And I also feel gross. Like, whenever I eat, like, processed carby stuff, like, I just feel gross after. Like, you feel kind of, my body just gets, like, like, too much sugar, like a Twinkie or something. I wouldn't even eat a Twinkie. But, like, if you think about it, like, why are you putting a Twinkie in your body? Like, that's not, like, a natural occurring substance that should exist in this world. It's a food-like substance. But then, when I look even, like, at Jerry Garcia, when he was diabetic and bigger, I remember I reacted to one of the videos, and I'm like, wow, Jerry was kind of chubby at a certain point in the 70s, and back then everyone else in the 70s was like stick skinny, like heroin chic, I call it. So they were like very thin. If you look at pictures from beaches in the 70s, everybody's thin. The men, the women, everybody's thin. And then Jerry Garcia is kind of like dad bod, and you're like, that's weird, because like back then, again, it was less common to be overweight, but that's part of how Jerry had metabolic disease, because he was diabetic. And then that is a totally different look than the normal people in the 70s. But then you look today, almost everybody looks like they have metabolic disease. So I guess something really bad happened between, like, I don't know, sedentariness. I think it's really just the food, though. You can't really outwalk a bad diet. That's the thing. Even if you're walking like 5 miles a day to like work in like New York City or something, if you're just eating Twinkies and drinking soda and probably tons of beer and all the other bad stuff, I just don't think you can be thin. You have to also, I mean, you can be thin if you just eat a hamburger and that's it. Like, but if you have snacks and stuff and hamburgers, I think it's too much. But yes, I think it was very hard to be an overweight woman. I even think about, like, Judy Garland. They used to say that she wasn't thin enough, right? And then Judy Garland did all these drugs and stimulants and stuff to lose weight. And then, of course, she ended up dying young too. And it's just like so much pressure for these girls. I've had pressure. It's really hard. And I didn't get it. Like, when I was growing up, I think my parents, I was a little bit, I wasn't like ever fat, but I was like chubbier. And I remember my parents would be like really like over me, like, are you sure you want that? Like, da-da-da. And I was like, why are they not just letting me eat? I'm hungry. I don't understand, But they were just probably worried because they knew how much stigma there could be if you were an overweight girl. Especially in their generation, you were like unmarriageable, and if you were unmarriageable in the 70s, like, God forbid, like I don't think women were allowed to have credit cards back then. You know what I mean? Like, you still had to get married just to have credit. So it was like a life or death thing to not be overweight. So I get it. And I still just think everyone should be healthy. And I do think because we have a society and we do have some form of socialized medicine in this country, because we have Medicare, right? And then we have Medicaid for the poor. So in general, if we're in a socialized society where we are paying our tax dollars to pay for other people's health care, we should encourage that system will only work if people in the system strive to be healthy. Because if people are not healthy, then we're paying a bigger burden for people who are basically making choices that are leading them to need more medical interventions, medication, surgeries. They'll be less in the workforce. So it's like, it doesn't really work, right? You can't have it both ways. Like, let's have socialized medicine, but also like, let's just let everyone be really unhealthy. And like, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to do that, you kind of have to have an expectation of health, or like at least striving to be healthy. And there should be, rather than treating things with pharmaceuticals, though I'm really glad now we have GLP-1s that actually work. But treating the symptoms and not the cause. That's a lot of metabolic disease, right? It's like, oh, hypertension, give them blood pressure medication. It's like diabetes, give them insulin. It's like the underlying cause of these things is probably the weight itself. Sleep apnea, it's the weight. So they'd love to treat all these symptoms, and then rather than just treating the cause, because maybe the pharmaceuticals make a lot more money that way. But I do think if we're in a taxpayer health system, we need to all come up with a more preventative model of how to keep people healthy. And it probably comes down to the food. But because food is so capitalist in this country, therefore companies can just try to make money. And like, it seems kind of messed up. Anyway, this whole video, which started as Mamas and the Papas, turned into an entire discussion on so many things. So hopefully that's interesting to you. But this was a fun reaction, and I hope you subscribe if you're new. And I will show you guys my spreadsheet of what I'm working through right now. When it's completed, I turn this green. So here we go. We're highlighting this green. And so as you can see, I've done all of these reactions. I have a few things standing out there. And then I have to get through all of these. And then that's my queue of my donated requests, my tipped requests, no tax on tips. That's what I like to say. And then these are ones that people have put into my form that are not donated. So I still keep track of them. And I do, I'm going to try to get through those in like live streams in the future. And right now as of November 18th, my form is paused because I had too many things. I have a backlog right now. So I have about 10 more videos to make, 10 to 15, it looks like. And once I get caught up on that backlog, I'm going to reopen my request form, which will be found here. Request form. Right now, the request form says, I will not take requests, but soon it will link back to the form, which will get you onto this page, which is the only way that I actually do requests, okay? If you're in a comment on my YouTube, I will probably 95% not see it. 95% chance not see it, okay? So you have to do the form. So but when the form opens, that's your shot, okay? And I will have it open. I'll gather a number of requests, like up to 20 or something, and then I will close it again until I work on the backlog, because I just don't like to have money outstanding that people tip me that I don't deliver something to them. So I try to have like a quicker turnaround. So anyway, thank you all, and I hope you have a great day.